Daf Kuf Yud Beis Amud Aleph. We'll begin at Daf Kuf Yud Aleph Amud Beis, 2 lines from the bottom. Continue on with Inyanim of Sakana of Mazikin. Zok the Gemara, Man Deshalsamai Betzaye Kashel Brukti. Person who drinks water from plates, directly from plates, it's harmful for his eyes. The Achel Techle V'Lamashiad, if he eats cress and doesn't wash his hands, Mefachet Losin Yamim, he'll be afraid for 30 days. He'll have fear on himself for 30 days. He's not sure why, but he'll have a fear. The Mesucher, if he does bloodletting, V'Loi Mashiad, and doesn't wash his hands, Mafchet Shiviyam, he'll be afraid for 7 days. The Shakil Mazi V'Loi Mashiad, he cuts his hair and doesn't wash his hands, then Mafchet Lasayim, it's 3 days. The Shakil Tufre V'Loi Mashiad, if he cuts his nails and he doesn't wash, Mafchet Chad Yemer, he'll have fear for 1 day, V'Loi Yada Maika Mafchet, and he won't know why he's afraid. And it's brought down in halacha that after cutting hair, after cutting nails, etc., we wash in Negelwasser. Yada usya dargelapacht. A person who puts his hands on his upper lip or his nose, then it brings a fear, anxiety for him. Yada aputa dargelashins. If he puts his head on his forehead, that causes sleep, causes it to be drowsy. Talna, we learn in the Brisa, if a person puts food or beverages under a bed, even if it's covered with steel kalim, ruach ra shoyer malayim. The ruach ra rests upon them. Talna rabbanon lo yishtad mayim, a person should not drink water, lo yibelei l'revius, lo yibelei shavosas, not on the Tuesday night and not on Friday night. Not on the Leil of the Wednesday or the Leil of Shabbos. V'im shalson, if he did, Dama Baroshi, he brings on his own self, he brings his blood on his own head. He's responsible. V'ibnei sakana, because these things are a sakana. My sakana, what's the sakana that we're referring to? It's ruach ra. It's ruach ra, the evil spirit. V'im tzachim ma'itakan, if he's thirsty and it's these nights of the week, what's his eitzah? So you should say, you should say the 7 kailas that Dovid Melech said in Tehillim, that kol is alamayim, and then he can drink. Shenemar kol Hashem alamayim. The voice of Hashem is on the waters. Keil HaKavod, here, the Shem, the kavod of Hashem causes thunder, it thunders. Hashem alamayim rabit is on the waters, on vast waters. Kol Hashem b'kayach. Hashem's kol comes with strength. Kol Hashem b'hadar comes with splendor. Kol Hashem shever razim, it breaks the cedars. Vayishaver Hashem esarzei halvana, and it breaks the cedars trees of Lebanon. Kol Hashem chaytzav lahavas eish, the Kol Hashem it cleaves with fire, with shafts of fire. Kol Hashem yachal midbar, it caused the midbar, the desert, to tremble. Yachal Hashem midbar kodesh, he causes the midbar of Kadesh to tremble. Kol Hashem yichil ayolis, it frightens the ayolis. V'yachsav yaharis, it burns the forests. And v'heichola kolayim kavod. But in his heichal, in his mikdash, Malkam HaMikdash, it's kavod, it's kula kavod. Everybody will proclaim the kavod of Hashem. So this was a skula and incantation. Therefore, these psukim rather are a remedy and will protect them from the sakana. But if he can't and he's not able to say these psukim, he should say the following: Lul shofan anigran anir dofin. This is an incantation. He should say these words: Ben kayach v'yasivna. I sit between the stars. Ben bli yishmeni azilna. I go between thin and fat people, and Rashbam says, therefore, it means that go start up with others and not with me. V'loy, and if he doesn't know, he's not able to say that incantation, i'ike inish bahadei, if there's another person that's with him, Nisari should wake him up, v'lema say to them, he should say, planya bar planosa, tzachina mayim. He should say, so-and-so, the son of so-and-so, I'm thirsty for water. And then he can drink. V'iloi, and if he doesn't have another person with him, mekarkesh nichtama chatzah, he should rattle the lid of a barrel, vater nishta, then he can drink. V'iloi, and if he's not able to do this, nishti v'amidi, vater nishti, he should sow something into the water, and then he can drink. Tzon rabbanon, lo yishtara mayim lo min haaretz lo min hagamin b'layl, he should not drink directly from the rivers or ponds at the nighttime. V'im shalsa dama barasha, and if he did, he's responsible for his sakana, the sakana that comes to him, mipnei sakana, because there's sakana. My sakana shavriri, it's a sakana of shavriri, of blindness. If he's thirsty, what's his eitzah? If there's another person with him, he should say, so-and-so, the son of so-and-so, I'm thirsty for water. But if there's nobody with him, he should say to himself, so-and-so, meaning himself, my mother said to me, is har mishavriri. Be careful with shavriri. Shavriri, riri, riri, yiri, re. So the way Rashi and Rashman explain it, so he mentions the name shavriri, but in descending order, diminishing it, shavriri, vriri, each diminishing the amount of letters, meaning and therefore diminishing the koyach of shavriri. So you should say that, I'm thirsty for water in new klicheres, a new earthenware kalim. Coming now back to the din of the Mishnah of Afil min tamchoi, even if someone is poor and he's supported by the tamchoi, the plate, the food plate that people anim collect from, he's still mechuyev in the mitzvah of dalakaises. Subshita, the mitzvah is for everybody. So why should I think that someone who's an ani and he's supported by the tamchoi, why should I think he's not mechuyev? The Gemara answers, lo nitzracha el afil Rabbi Kiva. The Chiddush is telling you, even according to Rabbi Kiva, the Omer who said, Aseh Shabbat Chachol Val Titzarech Labriya, is rather make Shabbos, treat Shabbos like a weekday, and don't come on to all the people, don't get tzedakah, don't ask for tzedakah, meaning, according to most Meforshim, what it means is, Shabbos there is a mitzvah of Shalosh Sudas. But if a person can't afford it, then make Aseh Shabbat Chachol. Treat it like a weekday. Do only 2 sudas. Don't come out to other people. Don't beg for the 3rd suda. So even though he said Aseh Shabbat Chachol Titzarech Labriya, but Hacha Mishum Persuma Nisa Moide. But over here, since there's a mitzvah Persuma Nisa by Leil Seder for the Persuma Nisa, the nice of Yitzias Mitzrayim, then even Rabbi Kiva would be maida that even the ani has to beg, he has to have the dalit suit, the dalit kaisis, the 4 kaisis. Tana the Be'alio, Rabbi Kiva say Shabbat Chaval Titzarech L'Briya, even though he said that Avaloisu Doramu B'Seich Beis, but he has to make something special for Shabbos, for Kavod Shabbos, he has to have some special dish in his house. My new, what is that? Amar Papa, an example is Kasa the Harsana. It was a dish that made out of fish and oil and flour that was considered to be somewhat of a delicacy. That he has to have something of the Kavod Shabbos. Kedislan, Rabbi Yehuda ben Tema Omer. Be oz to be strong and brave and bold as a leopard. Vikal kanash, light as an eagle. Ratzketzvi, and be swift like a deer. Vigibor ka'arir, and brave like a lion. Lasais v'tzayin of Yichsav to carry out the Ratzon of the Rebbeinu Shalom. Meaning that even though a person doesn't have the funds, but he should be strong and persist in able to get something, in able to be able to have something like Kavod Shabbos, and even if it means coming on to other people, and he should not be embarrassed. Ton Rabbanon, Shiva Devarim, Siva Rabbi Kiva, Rabbi Shua ben Noi, he gave him 7 instructions to Rabbi Shua, his son. Bini al Teisha B'Gai V'Shalir V'Tishna, don't sit at the high point of the city and learn. That's not the best place to learn, because then the high point of the city, that's where people come and go. You'll be interrupted with your learning. Go find a quiet place to learn. And don't live in a city where the people running the city are Tamid Chachamim, because they'll be so preoccupied with their learning, they won't take care of the affairs of the city. And don't enter your house suddenly. Don't come in without knocking, without forewarning. They don't come in suddenly, because the people come in suddenly, they won't know you're coming in, and they might be doing something in private, and you might embarrass them. And certainly to somebody else's house, you shouldn't come in that way. The Kohen Gadol had the Palmana remind him on his meal that he should be heard when he came in, into the Heichal. So certainly, as Rashbam says, and certainly we should learn from there that we should not come in suddenly into a house. And don't withhold shoes from your feet, because it's a great disgrace. It's a disgrace for a Talmud Chacham to go barefoot. It's a bezoin for the Torah. Hashkem v'achol, eat early in the day. In the morning, eat early. B'kayitz m'neacham, in the summer because of the heat. So eating early, eating at breakfast early, will give you the strength. V'chayret m'neatzina, in the winter because of the cold. V'asei shabbat chachol v'al l'briyas. And this, remember that we just said that asei shabbat chachol, don't come on to other people, and rather than, if it means forgoing the Shalosh Sudas, the third Suda, then, but don't be tzarech l'beis. And try to be somebody who has a mazel, who has the good fortune, and at a time when he has good fortune, try to associate with him. Omar Papa, what we mean is loy lamizvan minei v'loy lazvunmi. It doesn't mean to buy or sell to such a person. What we mean is to be a partner with him, to try to have a partnership with him, because since he's mazeldik, he'll be successful, and so will you. It says by Iyov, it says that Yerub B'nai Shalom gave a bracha to whatever he did, all his Ma'aseh Yadayim, and we say Kol HaNeitel Pruta Mi'Iyov Mizbarach, to the extent that anyone who even took a pruta from Iyov, he had a bracha. There was a bracha with him. So anything that was associated with him, there was chal on it, a bracha. So that's the case. Even to buy and sell, also there'll be mazel with him. And it's lav davka partnership, even to that extent it'll be mazel. When Rabbi Kiva was in prison, the Romans imprisoned him for teaching Torah. So he gave the 5 instructions to Rav Shimon ben Yochai. Amar Loi, Rav Shimon ben Yochai said to him, Rabbi Lamdeni Torah. He said, teach me Torah. Amar, Rabbi Kiva says, Ani Melamdcha, I won't teach it to you. Amar Loi, Rav Shimon ben Yochai said to him, if you're not going to teach it to me, I'm going to tell my father, and he'll report you to the government. Marshall points out he's already in jail, so what does it mean he's going to report him to the government? So Marshall says it means is that he'll report him, and meaning to have his punishment even more. He didn't have a stricter punishment. Of course, he didn't mean this literally, but he just demonstrated how his desire to learn Torah. Amrlai, Rabbi Kiva said to him, he said to him, it's not because I don't want to teach you. Of course I want to teach you Torah. More than the calf wants to nurse from his mother, the mother wants to nurse him. Of course I want to teach you Torah. But it's a sakana. But it's a danger, and I don't want to endanger life. I heard from Rav Simcha Wasserman Zatzal, in this memory, he said, I don't think it means that the mother wants to nurse the calf because it has the pain from the milk on the udder. That's not the primary reason. It's not only because of the pain, because if the mother doesn't nurse, then there's pain in the udder. The primary reason is because an innate desire to give to the child. So I have a desire more than you. I have a desire to teach you more than you even want to learn. But it's a sakana, it's a danger. Amrullah Rav Shimon ben Yochai said to him, Umi b'sakana v'la'egel b'sakana. But who's the one in danger? Who, if the calf doesn't nurse, who's the one that's in danger? It's the calf. So he says, it's my responsibility. It's not yours. I'm willing to take the chance. Amrullah Rabbi Kiva said to him, if you want to choke yourself, go hang yourself on a tall tree. So literal means that I'm not going to teach you because I don't want to be the one responsible to put you in Makom Sokana. If you want to put yourself in Makom Sokana, hang yourself on a high tree. But the Rashi explains that it also means a reference to, he gave him an eitzah. He says, if you want to paskin halachas, meaning you're putting yourself in a sakana by paskening for others, you're putting yourself in a sakana because you're taking that responsibility, then itala ba'ilan godol, hang yourself, meaning rely on a tall tree, rely on others that you're basing your halacha on gedolim. Another eitzah gave him is when you teach your son, lamdim sefer muka, teach him from a sefer that's been corrected, that doesn't have mistakes. Mahi, what is that? It's a new one. It means when the son is learning, when he's starting to learn, when he's beginning to learn. Why is that? So why is the emphasis on Becharata? Because what the first impressions are the lasting impressions. If the child learns and he makes a mistake, and he's learning from a sefer that has a mistake, and that's the beginning of his learning, that impression of the mistake will remain with him, and he'll have that mistaken impression for the rest of his life. Another eitzah says, don't cook in a pot that your friend has cooked in. So what does that mean? What's it referring to? It means grusha b'chaya bala. It means if a divorced woman, if the first husband is still alive, don't marry her. The Omar Mar, Gorish, and also grusha arba deyas b'mita, because someone who is a divorced and he marries a woman who's divorced, and the former spouses are still alive, they're arba deus mamita. When they have relations, each one is thinking about their former spouse. So it's thinking about each other and others as well, and it's an avera to think about someone else. B'shas they're having relations. By same, and some say I feel ba'almona, not only by a grusha but even by almona. Now, even though almona, so they're not thinking about their former spouse, she's not thinking about former spouse so much because the mesim shtachim b'leiv, but still lafi she'ein kol azvoy shavos, because the relations that she has, the hanos bia that she has with the second husband might not be the same as with the first husband, and the hano from the aver might not be kol azvoy or not shavos, and therefore it will cause a lack of kavod and a lack of shalom bayis. So therefore, to refrain from it.